So in our last video, I did basically a mock-up phone call of how I would communicate with the customer when they called. And I just want to break the onboarding process into several steps as we go on. So that was basically how I got them into the system, and now I want to break in how do we do the lot measurement on the property. There's a few different ways, and you can do lot measurements using all sorts of different software. So you can actually use Google Maps if you want, if you're doing larger commercial properties. As I've said in the past, I use Yardbook as a CRM. So as you can see here, this is the estimate. It's a fictional person. This person does not exist. What we are going to do is we're going to copy and paste this address over in our lot measurement tool. So we've got this. Just pretend that you don't see the number and the stuff that's in here. We're going to get into that in the next video. So let's figure out how we're going to figure out the lot measurement, and then we base our pricing off of that stuff. I don't go and look at properties anymore. I just don't do it, and it's because I service such a small area that I don't have to. The properties are all similar. So this is just an address that I pulled off of Zillow, by the way. This isn't the area I service. It's not anything other than similar to what I service. So my ideal customer is going to be pretty close to this. And as you see, I just put 4 little markers in the corner. You can clear these off. So mark 1 corner, 2, all the way to the street, 4. Okay? And so the lots are normally pretty even. Like this is going to be 12,000 square foot, even though I got it like 1250 because I got a marker off. You know what I mean? So having said that, like this lot is pretty typical to what I service. It's going to be 1 tree, possibly a couple hanging over. It's going to be privacy fences. I don't do a lot of chain link, so it's going to be privacy fence or wide open. Sometimes we have chain link. It's going to have a driveway and a sidewalk, and then a curb line that I have to edge. Sometimes there's a back porch back here that I have to edge around. I don't measure turf area. That's just me personally, and it's because all the properties that I mow are very, very, very similar. So say this property right here off the back porch had it had a back porch right here and then a flower bed coming down the side of the house. So I'm gonna have to weed eat this section regardless of whether it is, you know, I'll have to edge it here and then I would have to weed eat a flower bed, right? So I'm gonna have to do something regardless of whether there's concrete there and a flower bed or nothing at all, because I'm gonna have to mow it now and then I'm gonna have to weed eat it. So basically it's a plug and play substitute. I don't think that it takes much additional time either way. So basically every property here, so if you zoom out and you just look at all these houses, they are almost all identical in size and they're almost all identical in shape. So this is suburban living. So they'll have like 4 or 5 floor plans, and they build the houses the same. They put them on the same size lots. So I know that when I go to these properties, they're going to be pretty much the same. So if I get there, I might have to make some adjustments. More than likely, they're all pretty much the same. The soil's about the same because it's in the same area of town. They're going to have 1 or 2 trees, you know, which I can see from above. Maybe it's got some irrigation. It really doesn't matter because they're all weekly. Basically, you just mark the 4 corners real quick and easy. And yeah, so I just measure the lot size. So for me, 12,000 square foot property falls into a $50 price. Basically everything 12,000 square foot and under is $50 because that's our minimum price. Pick a minimum price. Minimum means that's your minimum. Stick with it. It could be 40, it could be 35. I don't really care what it is for you. It comes down to 1, your service area, and then it comes down to your man-hour rate. So that's like that's really the number you need to pay attention to. Are you making what you need to make to cover your expenses? I'm not a numbers expert. I've been learning and positioning myself around the right people and learning how to track everything better, because in the beginning you're focused on how to get the production done. How do I get this production done? How do I make it look good? How do I do this? How do I do that? And then later, once you're making enough money, you can stop and think a little bit on how to fine-tune the business itself. So just kind of part of how it works. So this is how we measure it. We make it real easy and simple, and we're able to give them a price over the phone. Now, say it goes up to 20,000 square foot. The crazy thing is, most properties in this area, so I don't have a 20,000 square foot lot pulled up. Let's just say we got a corner lot here. Let's find a big corner. This is a big corner lot, right? This one right here, that's a good sized corner lot. So we're just going to go boom, boom, boom. So we got a boulevard. We got a lot of edging here. See this sidewalk? There's a lot of edging. Okay, down, up, back, down. Looks like they have a chain link fence there too as well. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to pretend it's wide open. Okay. So it's 17,000 square foot. It's right around 20,000 square foot. But basically, this property right here, for me, now it's got a couple trees. It's got some edging. It's got this massive curb line. Okay. You see the curb line goes all the way around. Oops. That goes there. But it's anywhere you got road contact, you got a curb line around here. You know. So yeah, it's right around 20,000 square foot. For me, that would be a $75 property. I'm not saying that's right. It just comes down to time. 20,000 square foot for us takes about 20 to 30 minutes. So if you did a man-hour rate on that for 20 to 30 minutes, that's with me working solo. The crazy thing is with an employee, it doesn't really knock down the time that it takes much. In fact, it's kind of the same sometimes. So you can really drastically have massive changes in your man-hour rate if you have an employee working with you. But the difference is throughout the day, you're not going to have the physical exhaustion that you would have if you were, have an employee working with you. So you might shave off a little time here and there. In my opinion, you get more done with employees. Employees are great. But I've also worked solo for a long time and done sections of the year solo. And I think being solo is great as well. 2018, I dove in and just, I was trying to find somebody to work with me that year. I got tired of it. I went solo. I fine-tuned the business. And so I was able to step back, and I thought that was a wonderful thing I did. So, let's just say I charged $75 on this property, and it took me 20 minutes. So, real simple calculation. It would be, you got time divided by 60. So we got 20 minutes divided by 60. It gives you 0.33. And then you're actually going to find your man-hour rate. You're going to divide that by the price you're charging. So you're going to divide that by the price you're charging. That's going to work up to be, I don't know what that is. That's going to work up to be $227.27 per man-hour, which sounds wonderful. Sounds wonderful. But then you have days where it takes 30 minutes. So just a 10-minute shift on that property, right? Just a 10-minute shift on the amount of time start to finish on that property. Say that's going to take you down to, because you got 0.33 of an hour. Well, now you have half of a man-hour that takes if you're doing it solo, and it takes you 30 minutes, and you're charging $75. Well, that's only $150 a man-hour, which sounds like a lot. So what you're going to do is you're going to average it out, because some days you're going to have where you flew through it. Some days it's going to take you a lot longer because it's wet and nasty. At the end of the year, you have this number and you calculate it, and it's down to an average. And let's just say it took about an average of 25 minutes for easy calculation. So what you would do is you would take 25 minutes divided by 60 is going to give you 0.45 or 0.42, and you're going to take that number and you're going to divide 75. So you're going to take 75 divided by 0.42, and that's going to equal $178 per man hour. And again, that sounds great, but what's going to happen is, say you have $178 per man hour on this one, and then the other one goes down a little bit. You're going to have some that, when it weighs out through the day and you have breakdowns and this and that, you're going to have days where you have a good day, and then you're going to have days where you have a bad day, right? Overall consistency, you want to have so much per man hour that you're trying to hit. So, you're going to have to figure out what your break even and stuff is. For me, I'm still working on all that stuff. My simple solution for figuring out I knew I wasn't making enough money at $35. I knew I was making decent money at like 40, 45 on some of my properties that were like 12,000 square foot. I bumped everybody to 50 minimum, and I sold at a higher rate than I'd ever sold, and we started making very good money. So we're still figuring that out, calculating so that we can find out what our exact profit margin is, because we run a profit loss at the end of the year, and we really need to be doing that on a regular basis. That's something that you need to know every week. So having said that, what I was wanting to say is, as you average out that man-hour rate, you got to think that you're going to have break times, you're going to have drive time, you're going to have everything else that's going into it. So it sounds like you're doing wonderful. The other thing you need to calculate is not only the man-hour rate at the property, but the collective man-hour rate for the day, what you made for the day total, and then as well as, are you hitting your daily goal? So there should be a certain number that you want to hit per day. For us, that's $1,000. When I go out and I mow, we want to hit $1,000 revenue goal. That's what we're setting for this year, okay? I haven't dove into the goal setting video yet, but that's something we're going to talk about. In the past, it wasn't that high, and we had good days, we had bad days. We were shooting for $10,000 a month on revenue for lawn care, and we want to hit $20,000 a month in revenue in lawn care. But what I am going to talk to you about is goal setting in another video. So stay tuned, subscribe, whatever. I'm going to show you the plan for that. I'm also going to show you the plan for how to get to $10,000 a month. So I know there's a common scenario that when you're at like $5,000 or $6,000, that leap to $10,000 seems like a lot. Like, it's like, I'm maxed out here, I'm doing all that I can, but it's really just a few micro adjustments in your business, and boom, you're there. So, and I know I'm going to say the same thing about 20 to 30,000, 30 to 40,000 as we grow, because there's going to be somewhere that I get hangups. But the thing is, like, the next level always looks like it's hard to get to, and a lot of the times it's just a little easy adjustment. So, I would highly suggest getting around the right people, listening to the right things, finding the people that are legitimately going to help you figure out the right things in your business. For me, you kind of see that this channel's a mix between entertainment and some education. I enjoy the education side. I really love that kind of stuff when it comes to Facebook posts, Facebook groups, YouTube videos. And then I do like some of the entertainment because I'm a content creator now, and I like to see how people edit videos. And I have fun doing the work videos, so as we get into the year, I'll enjoy that stuff more as well. So, this, I got off subject, but this is how we figure out the properties. And we can do it at a glance. We let them know that the price may adjust when we go to look at the property. If we go there and there's something that's unforeseen, like the gate size, we only mow 36 inches and up. So if it's got a gate size that's smaller, I don't take care of it. It's just not my niche. It's not what I do. I don't want anything to do with it. It's nothing against that client or the person or the property. It's just, I don't want anything to do with it. The other thing is, the areas I target are kind of middle class, middle of the road. They don't have pristine lawns. They're not like, you're not going to see just on every yard beautiful, lush, pristine, awesome fescue. We're in the transition zone. If you see fescue, it normally means they're spending a lot of money on the grass, which would seem like the ideal place to be cutting grass. But, we've rebuilt our business several times, our clientele in the business, so we've adjusted, and I fine-tuned to find out, I kind of found out what I like servicing, who I like servicing, and we fine-tuned our business to fit that model. So, I like the middle of the road houses, these houses that are built in the, let's say between like the 60s to 70s, 80s, maybe mid 50s to 80s. These houses are just kind of my bread and butter. So this type of neighborhood would be what I like going in and taking care of. They've got some established bushes and stuff like that. Here's something that I don't take care of. I've got a couple properties with pools in the backyard. I don't want to take on any more pools, any yards with pools. I've seen too many videos of people dumping their mowers in there. So as we bring more employees on, I don't want to mess with it. The other thing is, they're a huge hassle. Because you'd think, right, when you're going to price out this property, you would think that, oh, well, that's a lot less that I have to mow. big pool in the way, so there's not as much I have to mow. But what you have is shorter shots with your mower, and you've got this big obstacle in the middle of the yard, and then you got to edge around it, and you got to weed eat, and then you got to change your pattern on how you mow so you're not shooting grass in there. Even if you have a shoot blocker, you're gonna have grass coming up grass coming up underneath your deck when it's real dry, or grass from weed eating and edging, and you normally just get complaints on those type of yards. They're just a hassle. Here's another one. It's got a pool, right? But it's an above ground pool. They're a pain. I don't like it. I'll dive into that more this spring on stuff that I don't want to take on as far as a property goes. But, you know, this was just a real simple and easy video on how to measure a property, and then obviously talking about some of the, billing and stuff that way. So, I hope this video helps. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just diving into stuff more in my business, figuring out more. We're fine-tuning, and we were able to crank up our revenue, and obviously our profit was better in there. So what we're actually putting in our pockets was better. I'm not going to say I had a better profit margin. That's something, like I said, with the profit and loss, where we have this black hole nightmare of not knowing it till the end of the year, which, I'm going to get bashed on that, I'm sure. But the fact is, like, it just is what it is. While you're figuring out, you're not going to have everything right. It's not going to be 100% legitimate if you're diving into learning the office side of your business. So for us, we're figuring that out. We're diving in. As I learn more, I will share more. That's what I like doing. I've been in several programs to learn about business. I've gone to several seminars. I buy stuff wherever I can because I want to learn more. So when I learn this stuff, I'm going to implement it in my business, and I hope to share the action steps that I'm implementing into my business so that you can apply it to your business if you want. That's all up to you, because you can read a book, you can watch a video, you can do all this stuff. If you're not applying action steps, it's not doing a damn thing for you, and you might as well just quit because you're wasting your time. I'll see you guys in the next one. The next video I'm going to be talking about the actual estimate form and how I build that and what I send to our customer. It's pretty simple. It lands a lot of clients when we talk with them and go through the onboarding process, pull up the measurement, measure their property, send them this estimate. We almost always land the properties. And so I thought it would be very difficult because we were selling these same type neighborhoods, this type of neighborhood. I was selling all these lawns at like $30 to $40 a pop. And by doing things this way, I'm able to easily sell at $50 per service. So I'm able to take something that I was charging 100 and I believe 170, so 35 times, well, really, I'm able to take what I was charging somebody $70 a month on to $200 a month, and I'm not getting any resistance. So we were charging $35 per service, and we were coming every 2 weeks. Now we're charging $50 per service. We're coming every week, and we're not getting any pushback on it. So that means everything's going smooth. I would highly suggest, whatever fear you have in making that change that you're wanting to make in your business, I would highly suggest you just pushing it aside, removing the emotion from it, looking at your business and going, well, is this the healthiest thing to do in my business? Because if it's healthy for the business, it is healthy for you. It's the right thing to do, okay? If it's the right thing to do, just do it. So I'll see you guys in the estimating video, and I'm out.